Well, good Tuesday morning to everybody. Hope you are doing well this Tuesday morning. We are looking at game number 2 on this date of June 23rd. It is game 477 overall on the replay, and it is the New York Yankees taking on the Baltimore Orioles. Yankees check in 39 and 31, Orioles check in 27 and 43. There was one addition to the Oriole roster that did sign, I should say. It says called up here, but really it was a free agent signing. They signed Doug Corbett. He was with the Angels back in the 85 and 86 seasons, I believe. Did not pitch anywhere in 87 until the Orioles signed him, but of course he doesn't hang around that long. He goes 23 innings, but he's got a 7.83 ERA. So obviously the Orioles are not going to, it looks like he's on this was the end of his career basically. He never played in the major leagues after this. So I guess the Orioles took a flyer on him since they were so bad. They figured why not, and it didn't work out for him. But he is on the roster now, and I will use him accordingly. So that is one roster move that will be made. Tomorrow for the Yankees, they will make a roster move as Don Mattingly will come back, and they will send Dan Pasqua to Columbus to make room for Don Mattingly. That will be tomorrow, not today. That'll be tomorrow's game. So we're looking at today's game. It is Rick Rhoden, the veteran right-hander, against Mark Williamson. Williamson mainly in the bullpen for the Orioles, but he did make 2 real-life starts, and this is start number 1 of 2 that he will make on the season. Good morning, Jeremiah. Good to see you. So, and I believe it's on a few days after this is when Ricky Henderson, I think it's the 29th. I want to say it's the 27th or the 29th of June that Ricky Henderson comes back. I'm not sure the exact date. I have to look it up again. But they're still a few days away from Ricky Henderson coming back. But Rhoden and Williamson are the starting pitchers in this one. Williamson has a +2 hold. Kennedy is a 0 catcher, so he's a +2. His wild pitch is a 5. His balk's a 0. And the pass ball on Kennedy is a 2. For Rick Rhoden, he's got a +1 hold rating. He's a -1, but the +2 from Salas makes him a +1. 10 wild pitch, 2 balk, and a pass ball on Salas of 14. It's a little bit shaky on the defense there. And basically 2 what I would call struggling teams right now. Neither team has been that proficient in the last few games. Orioles' whole season have not been proficient, but the Yankees, since they lost Mattingly and Henderson, they've kind of squandered a bit. Floundered might be the better word for it. We'll see if the Orioles can get them right. Sometimes you play a lowly team like that, you can turn things around. However, in the previous game, that didn't happen. As Dennis Rasmussen, Guante, and Clements all got racked, Mike Boddicker pitched a complete game for the Orioles. So the Oriole bullpen is completely rested. Yankee bullpen still pretty. They pitched 3 guys, basically 2 because Cerrone was a opposite position player. So they only used Guante and Clements a third of an inning. So technically, all hands are on deck for the Yankees as well. So we'll see how that turns out for them as they face the Baltimore Orioles. Got our Baltimore Oriole colored dice game up on the computer. One thing that the computer does on the Strat-O-Matic is there's an option you can get what they call game notes. And I'm looking at the game notes, and it gives you who's hot and who's not for each team. And looking at the batters, who's hot, Eddie Murray is hitting 375 in his last 10 games. Mike Pagliarulo for the Orioles is hitting 414 in his last 10 games. On the opposite side of the spectrum, Dan Pasqua is hitting 133 in his last 10 games, but he will be going down to Columbus very shortly. And Lee Lacy is hitting 179. Ray Knight 133. So a couple of Orioles there that aren't doing so well. Currently, Henry Cotto has an 8-game hitting streak to stay alive, so we'll see if that can happen. And the final game of this series will be tomorrow, Ron Guidry against Dave Schmidt. So with those preliminaries out of the way, let's get this ball rolling. Leading off for the New York Yankees. Well, first of all, we'll get Williamson's full numbers. That's usually how I like to start these things. Williamson on the real season was 8-9 with a 4.03 ERA and 3 saves. He did make 2 starts. This is start number 1. On replay, he's 3-3 with 4 saves and a 3.15 ERA. He has pitched 60 innings, given up 52 hits, 11 walks, 33 strikeouts. He does have a starting rating of 5, so he can go up to 5 innings if need be without fear of fatigue. And leading things off for the Yankees will be Willie Randolph. And there's our Baltimore Oriole colored dice. Randolph on the replay is hitting .274, 3 homers, 28 driven in. He hit .305 real world. And, of course, before we have the first pitch, we have the ceremonial first sip, which is the standard Motosip operandi on the channel in the mornings. And that is some good coffee on this cool Tuesday morning here on the East Coast. I believe it's temperature is either in the high 40s or low 50s out there right now, and overcast. It's supposed to clear up this afternoon. I'd like to cut the grass today, so hopefully it'll clear up enough where I can do that. All right, here is Willie Randolph. See what he does here against Williamson. 2-6, and that is a 1-7 double. That's a 15, so a leadoff single for Willie Randolph. And we'll see if he can get the lead. Again, it's a +2 factor, so if he gets the lead, he's going to be almost automatic. But he needs a 3. That's the only way he gets the lead. He does not get the 3. He holds, and that brings up Claudell Washington, designated hitter for this game. Claudell hitting .322, 2 homers, 16 driven in. He at .279 real world. 211. That's a split. 1-5 is a single. That's a 10. So he lines it right to the second baseman, Alan Wiggins. And there's one away. Brings up the number 3 hitter, Gary Ward. Ward at first base for this game. Ward hitting just .208 on the replay. 7 homers, 28 driven in. He at .248 real world. Nothing on the havoc. The 4-9 for Williamson. That's a pop out to short. Ripken is there. 2 away. We know Don Mattingly is chomping at the bit to get back to this Yankee club. He will do that tomorrow. Will be activated tomorrow, and Pascal will be sent down. Here's Mr. May, Dave Winfield, .255 average on the replay, 15 homers, 40 driven in. He at .275 real world. 5-4, and that's a strikeout. Mark Williamson, his first strikeout of the game. So the leadoff single by Randolph doesn't hurt the Orioles whatsoever. So the bottom of the first, Yankees nothing, the Orioles coming to bat. And veteran right-hander Rick Rhoden on the hill for the Yankees. On the 1987 season, he was 16-10 with a .386 ERA. That was his actual numbers for the season. On the replay, he is 5-4 with an ERA of 4.42. So not quite as well as he did in real life so far. He's kind of struggling a bit. 92 innings pitched, 112 hits, 20 walks, and 56 strikeouts. And leading off for the Orioles will be speedster Alan Wiggins. Wiggins on the replay hitting just a .181, a homer and 11 driven in. He hit .232 real world. Good morning, Dan. Good morning, Michael and Dr. D. I'm broadcasting from my upstairs bedroom here in Central Virginia. All right, here's Wiggins. 5-5, switch hitter batting left. That's a ground ball to second base, 1 away. It is not a studio. I don't pretend it to be a studio. It's a bedroom that I've used. It's an upstairs bedroom that is vacant, so I'm using it as my game room. I do not pretend it's a studio of any kind. Here's Jim Dwyer, 287 on the replay, 6 homers, 15 driven in. He at .274 real world. 6-9, and that's going to be a fly to left field. 2 down. And this is also a Game Pulse free channel, so you won't see anything about Game Pulse on here. Strat-O-Matic and some other things, but you won't see Game Pulse. All right. Cal Ripken, 250 on the replay. 9 homers, 31 driven in. He hit 252 real world. 210, and that's going to be a fly to left field. And that will take care of it. 3 up, 3 down go the Orioles. Made quick work of by Rhoden. The end of 1, no score from Memorial Stadium. And that'll bring up third baseman Mike Pagliarulo, or Paliarulo, however you want to refer to him. Not sure which pronunciation. I've heard him called both things, so I don't know specifically which one is correct. I've always called him Pagliarulo, but I've heard Paliarulo too, so don't know what the technical pronunciation is, if there even is one. But Pagliarulo, I'm going to just go with Pagliarulo. Pagliarulo, Analog City, you got that right, Dan. You know, I thought once you saw something you couldn't see for the first. I thought once you saw something for the first time you couldn't see something for the first time again. But I've had 4 first looks at Game Pulse. Isn't the second time I see it a second look, not a first look? But it's been proclaimed as a first look. So I had 4 different people put first looks out on that. So, of course, first look is nothing more than a clickbait catchphrase people use on YouTube to try to get views. That's all that is. And there's a couple of YouTube creators out there that major in that. Everything is a first look. No matter if it's been out there for a year, they're going to come back and say it's a first look. So, but I digress. All right, 255 average for the replay for Pagliarulo. 19 homers, 39 driven in. He hit 234 real world. If you know, you know. All right, here is Pagliarulo, 2-7. That's a strikeout. Dr. D Game Pulse is the computerized version of Payoff Pitch that is the craze right now. It's the flavor of the month, and I don't do flavors of the month. I stick with what works. And not surprisingly, on Facebook, that group, there's a whole lot of people whining because there's little errors and computer issues they're running into, which when you bring out something brand new, you're going to have bugs. I mean, that's just the way it is. So, all right, here's Dan Pasqua. This is his last game, and I got a potential spam. Look at that. Would you look at that? It even says potential spam right here. You kidding me? You want to call that spam number or go right ahead? That spam that did show up on. Oh, it was there on the screen and it went away. Oh well. Let me see here. Maybe we can spam them back. How about that? Maybe we can spam them back. There we go. If you want to call that spam number, just call me. There's the number right there. 227-8560-804 area code. You want to call them up? That's the potential spam number that I just got. Maybe we can flood them with spam calls. I guess that's what they're doing, Dan. They were calling to give me a first look. All right. So anyway, what I was saying before that, I was so rudely interrupted by that spam call, is this is Dan Pasqua's last game for a while. He will be sent down tomorrow to make room for Don Mattingly. So Pasqua will go to hit the bus to Columbus. But on the replay, he's hitting 221, 11 homers, 24 driven in. He hit 233 real world. 6-7, and that's a solid single to right field. Single to right field. And, of course, he has no interest in trying to run. That brings us to the catcher, Mark Salas. Salas is hitting 162 on the replay, 3 homers, 10 driven in. Hit 250 overall. That's a 2-11, and up to Ray Knight at third base. 2 quick outs after that, or the second out now after that single. And it's going to be up to Henry Cotto. He does have an 8-game hitting streak, according to the Strat computer. He does have an 8-game hitting streak going, so. Yeah, that's it, Dr. D. I don't have technical. Well, I could have technical issues with YouTube or something, but when I'm playing the game offline, the cards and dice never, you know, I don't have any memory errors. I don't have any syntax errors. I don't have any bugs. It's just me, the cards, the dice, and the score sheet, the way it should be. Cotto, 224 average, 2 homers, 8 driven in on the replay. He did hit 235 real world. Pasqua at first with 2 outs. To 110, and that's a ballpark blast. It's a 1 to an 11, but that's a 16, so he will fly it to left field. Sheets hauls it in at the track, and the inning is over. So Cotto just got up underneath it a bit, and that will end the inning. And for those that came in a little bit late, the Orioles did add Doug Corbett to their roster as a free agent signing. So they did sign him. So they do have extra arm in the bullpen. Of course, it's right-handed, where all their relievers are right-handed, basically. So, but I guess they took a flyer on him. He didn't last long there, and he retired shortly after it. So, but they're going to take a flyer on him. He's a veteran, pitched for the Twins and the Angels back in the early 80s. He might have even been around in the late 70s. I'm not sure. I know in 85, I think in 85 and 86, he was with the Angels, I believe. All right, here's Eddie Murray. Murray hitting 308 on the replay, 17 homers, 42 driven in. He hit 277 real world. 210, and that's going to be a split. 1 to 2 is a single. That's going to be a liner right to Willie Randolph, and there's one away. One down for Larry Sheets. Sheets, the left fielder, hitting 296 on the replay. 10 homers, 22 driven in. He hit 316 real world. 6-9, and that's a fly to left field. 2 down. And that'll bring up Ray Knight, third baseman. Knight hitting 234 on the replay. 9 homers, 29 driven in. He hit 256 real world. 4-4, and that is a ground ball third base X. We're looking at Pagliarulo, 2E20, first X chance of the game. 2-15 is he's all over that. That's no issue whatsoever. That is a 9, and he is an E20. I'm sorry, he is an E20, and it's a 9 at third base. E20, there's an 11, 14, and 15, but no 9. So Pagliarulo makes the play. Orioles go 1-2-3 once again. We go to the top of the third. And that'll bring up the shortstop, Wayne Tollison. Tollison on the replay is hitting 230, 2 homers, 17 driven in. He hit 221 real world. 2-8, and that's a 1 to 14 single. So base hit for Wayne Tollison, number 9 hitter, trying to get something started for the Yankees. Let's see, a +2 hold. He could be a 1 to 13. He's not really much of a base runner, so they're not going to try anything there. Here's Willie Randolph. He singled his first time up. 3-4, and that's a ballpark single check, but it's only a 3, so he will pop it out to Eddie Murray, first base, for 1 away. That'll send up Claudel. He lined to Wiggins at second in his first at bat. 6-11, left-hander is a ground ball first base X. We're going to they were not holding Tollison on, so 2E10, he will keep that 2E10. 2-11 at first base should not be a problem. 2-11 is a G1. By not holding him on, it would have been a G2 had they been holding him on, but they weren't holding the runner on, so it's a possible G1 double play chance. That's a 9, and he is an E10 at first base. There is no 9 there, so it's going to be a 3-6-3 double play to end the inning. Turned smartly by the 2 veterans, Ripken and Murray. 3-6-3. Takes care of business, and that's it for the Yankees. We go to the bottom of the third. Still goose eggs at Memorial Stadium. Bottom third of the order for the Orioles. Hello, JG. Good to see you. Terry Kennedy will start things off. Kennedy, the catcher. He's hitting 234 on the replay. 13 homers, 31 driven in. He hit 250 real world. 4-8 left-handed. That's a base on balls. First walk issued by Rhoden. Sometimes those leadoff walks will come back to get you. Of course, Kennedy, no threat to steal at all, will not be held. Here's Ken Gerhardt. I'm not sure what's going on with Fred Lynn. Second game in a row, he has not played center field, but he is a buster and he is available to pinch hit, and I feel available to come in defensively as well if need be. But right now they're starting out with Ken Gerhardt in center field. Gerhardt hitting .238 on the replay, 8 homers, 21 driven in. He hit .243 in the real season. 1-7, and that's a strikeout. First strikeout for Rhoden. That'll bring up the number 9 here, designated hitter Mike Young. Young on the replay hitting .237, 8 homers, 23 driven in. He hit .240 real world. 5-2, switch hitter bang left as a fly to center. Hauled in by Cotto. 2 down. So leadoff walk. Kennedy is still stuck at first base with 2 outs for Alan Wiggins. 4-7, switch hitter bang left. That's a ground ball, second base X. Randolph to E17. Usually reliable Randolph. You would think he would get to that and make it. That's the way he's going to get to it. But whether he makes an error or not is another question. That's a 16, and he's an E17. So E17, there is no 16. There's a 6, 15, 3, and 18, but the 16 is fine. So Randolph makes the play, and that's going to do it for the Orioles. So at the end of 3, we got nothing going on here at Memorial Stadium. Starting to mimic the real score, which was only 2-1 Yankees. So lack of offense in the real game as well. Due up for the Yankees, it will be Gary Ward, followed by Winfield and Pagliarulo against Mark Williamson. It's a 2-9 for Ward. Single and a 1-19, so leadoff single for Gary Ward. Gary Ward with a single. He's going to try to get a lead. He needs a 4 to get a lead. Doesn't get it, he will hold. So here comes Mr. May, Dave Winfield. He struck out his first chance. 2-4 for Winfield. This time he's going to pop it up to Eddie Murray at first base. And that's why they call him Mr. May. Hello, Brown. Good to see you. Here's Mike Pagliarulo. Pags, as he's affectionately known by Yankee fans, struck out his first chance. That's a 2, chance for a balk or pass ball. We're looking at the pass ball on Kennedy, which is only a 2, and there is no pass ball. 3-8, and that's a ground ball, second base A. That's going to be a 4-6-3. Giovanni's Tailor Shop. Tailor-made double play. 4-6-3. Giovanni's Tailor Shop in Lemoyne, Pennsylvania. If you're out in that area, be sure to check them out and tell them Demo sent you. They will give you a discount. They are the unofficial sponsor of the channel, but they're official sponsor of the Giovanni's Tailor Shop tailor-made double play of the game. The Orioles benefit from that tailor-made double play. We go to the bottom of the 4th, and here is Rick Rhoden back out. And he'll be facing Jim Dwyer, Cal Ripken, and Eddie Murray, numbers 2, 3, and 4 in the order. If you wonder why I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt today, or this morning, I should say, it's a little cool, but that's not the whole reason behind it. I don't know how well this shows up on camera if I can get my arm to do this, but you can see the redness here. When I was clearing some brush over the weekend, I must have got into something because this stuff itches like crazy. I don't know if it's poison oak or it's only right here on this little section of my arm. That's the only places. If I put a little Benadryl or whatever on it, it's fine. But I don't want it showing up on camera as much as all the time when I'm playing. So that's why I'm donning the long sleeves in this one. Poison oak, is that what that is? I was just cleaning some brush up in the yard, and snipping some pruning some stuff, and I got into something. So I should learn to wear long sleeve shirts when I'm doing the work, and maybe that would help avoid it. Oddly enough, it never got on my left arm. My left arm is totally fine. Just that little section of my right arm. So whatever, I guess it just finds wherever it will find. All right. So here is Jim Dwyer. Sorry for that little diversion there. Didn't mean to be rash. All right, here's Dwyer. 4-7, and that is a ground ball that is going to go to Randolph. He's a 2E17. 2 and an 8 should be okay. 2 and an 8 is a G2. That's a 6. I don't think that's a problem for an E17, but you might be. And it is. How about that? It is an error. E17 at second base. A 6 is the first number listed on the E1. So there you go. One base error on Willie Randolph. Usually reliable Randolph boots it. And Dwyer is at first base. Dwyer's going to see if he can get a lead. He needs a 5 to get the lead. He does not get it, so he'll hold. And here's Cal Ripken. 1-6 for Ripken, and that's a ground ball shortstop A. It's another Giovanni's Tailor Shop tailor-made double play on the 1-6 against right-handers. Ground ball shortstop A. The plus is irrelevant. In this case, it's just a Giovanni's Tailor Shop tailor-made 6-4-3 double play turned by Tollison, Randolph, and Ward. And that's the second Giovanni's Tailor Shop double play, tailor-made double play in as many innings. Clears the bases for Eddie Murray. Oh, Brown, I'm going to be doing, I got enough positive response. I will be doing another Sunday Basic Sunday game. I'll probably stick to something from the 62 season. That seems to be a decent season. Although the game I played was not close, so hopefully the next one will be close. But I'll try to at least do that at least next Sunday, and we'll see if people seem to enjoy it. I'll do it every Sunday. It doesn't bother me any. All right, here's Eddie Murray. 2-12 for Murray. He's going to fly to center, and that's going to end the inning. So the double play took care of the error that Randolph made. Cleaned that slate up. And now we go to the fifth, and we're still no score here at Memorial Stadium. This is the fatigue inning coming up from Mark Williamson. He does have that 5 by his number for fatigue right here. He's going to be facing Pasqua, Salas, and Cotto. 4-12, and that's a ground ball right back to Williamson. 1 away. And that brings up Mark Salas. 2-9 for Salas. That's a 1-10 double. 18, though, he'll hold with a single. 1-out single from Mark Salas. He is no threat to go anywhere. Here's Henry Cotto. He flew to left field his first time up. He is working on an 8-game hitting streak, so that's in jeopardy if he doesn't get a hit here shortly. 3-7, and he struck him out, so he might have just one more at bat to try to extend that. That is the third strikeout for Williamson. And that takes us to Wayne Tollison. He did single his first time up. That's a 6-8. Switch hitter batting left, and that's a single 1-18. That is an 18. So Tollison 2 for 2 with a 1 star there. So Salas has to hold at second base. First and second, 2 outs, and we've got this, I believe, is the first clutch situation of the game. And it belongs to Willie Randolph. Randolph in the clutch. Gains 1 hit on 1-3. Everything else he's neutral. Williamson 1 base runner from being fatigued. That's a 6-10, and that's a catcher X. We're looking at Kennedy. He's a 4, E4. 4 and a 9. This could be a potential pass ball, perhaps. 4 and a 9 is a possible pass ball or pop up. That's a 7, and he's an E4. error there. So P/P is what we're looking at. P/P. And we're going to be using the wild pitch rating of the pitcher to determine if a pass ball has occurred. Wild pitch rating on Williamson is a 5. So 1 to 5, we have a pass ball. 6 or higher, it's just going to be a pop out to Kennedy, and the inning's over. And it's a 5, so it is a pass ball. And that will move the runners up 90 feet into second and third. Kennedy let that one get past him. And now Randolph, chance to drive home 2 runs. Tollison with pretty good speed at second base, especially with 2 outs. 2-10 for Randolph, but he's going to fly it to left field where Mr. Sheets is there. And that's going to end the inning. So Williamson keeps a bare minimum of fatigue, or endurance, I should say, to keep going into the 6th inning. So why not? He's pitching a shutout. Why wouldn't you? The way the Orioles pitching has been, they're going to ride him like a mule. All right, here is Larry Sheets. It'll be Sheets, Knight, and Kennedy due up for the O's. Sheets fly to left his first time up. 5-7, and that's a ground ball shortstop X. We're looking at Tollison, 3E22. 3-1, that's going to get through for a base hit. 3-1 is going to be a single 2 stars. That's a 10. Probably not an error on a 10. E22. No 10, but it is a base hit, and there goes the no-hitter. First Oriole hit by Larry Sheets comes up on the X chance. So Sheets is aboard. Of course, no threat to run. And Ray Knight, the batter. Oh, the orange dye got hung up in there. Let's redo this again. 5-6, right-handed, struck him out. Rick Rhoden strikeout number 2. And here comes Terry Kennedy. He walked his first chance. Only walk issued by Rhoden. 2-4 for Kennedy. He's going to fly it to center field where Cotto is there. 2 down, and now it's up to Ken Gerhardt if the Orioles are to score. Gerhardt strikeout victim his first time up. 5-6, and he's going to be a strikeout victim again. Number 3 for Rhoden. And the Orioles go rather meekly. They get their first hit, but nothing else. We go to the 6th. It is still 0-0 on the scoreboard. And again, Yankees won the real game 2-1. So that is still not out of the question to have a score like that. Williamson will come out. I don't think the Orioles will want to use Corbett in a close game like this, so they'll probably go to some of their better relievers. Unless they fall behind. So here's Claudel. He is 0 for 2. 1-6, make him 0 for 3 as he flies it out to Gerhardt. Center field. So well-pitched game by both starters. Either that or incompetent offense, whichever way you want to look at it. Here's Ward. He's 1 for 2. Hello, Joel. Good to see you. 6-10. And right-hander is a catcher X. We're going back to Kennedy, but this time nobody's on base. 4-16 might even be a ground out or a pop-up. 4-16 is a foul out. That's a 15. He's an E4. There's a 16, 17, and 18, but no 15. So a foul out to Kennedy. 4-2 away. On the NBC Game of the Week on Saturdays, I was sent by a gentleman. Don't know if he wants to be identified or not, but I was sent by, so I won't mention him, but I was sent an email with the actual NBC schedule on it. So the schedule I was using initially was just conjecture, looking at the schedule, see who played in the daytime or whatever, but we do have I do have the official NBC schedule that was really broadcast, so I have altered my schedule going forward. to match that schedule. The only changes I am making is I'm trying to play the A game, the one that Joe Garagiola and Tony Kubek broadcast. Except there's a couple times where the same team is on back-to-back. When that happens, I'll go to the B game so that we don't have the same team 2 weeks in a row. But this is this little public service announcement. Going forward, next Saturday we'll be at Fenway Park. It's going to be the Seattle Mariners taking on the Boston Red Sox. Then we're going to have Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, Yankees, Red Sox, Reds, Dodgers, Red Sox, Twins, Yankees, Royals, and Angels June 16th. But that's and gotten their 25-man rosters that were on that date. So done the legwork ahead of time to make everything work. But just a quick little blurb about that. So because I know I said Saturday was supposed to be Houston, Cincinnati, but that's no longer going to be the game. It's going to be Seattle at Boston. I believe it's Dennis Eckersley for the Red Sox against Odell Jones for the Seattle Mariners. All right, here's Mr. May, Dave Winfield. 6'4", and that's an in-home run chance, 1-7. That's a 12, so he'll settle with a double. A 2-out double for Dave Winfield. Mark Williamson on the verge of being fatigued. And if they had a lefty reliever, now's the time they'd probably bring him in, but they don't have one. So they're going to let Williamson see if he can get out of the jam. Pagliarulo in a clutch situation does gain a hit on a 1-6. That's a 3-6, and that's a ballpark blast on a 3-6, but that's an 8, and that's an 11. It's gone. Mike Pagliarulo, a 2-run bomb courtesy of Memorial Stadium. Look at it again, 3-6 on the ballpark blast. In fact, I will bring it up a little closer. 3-6 on the ballpark blast. You see that big diamond shot sitting right there? 3-6 right there, the old diamond shot. Memorial Stadium, 1-11. And the D20 is an 8, so that's gone. The dam has finally been broken as the Yankees come through with a 2-run home run off the bat of Mike Pagliarulo. And Mark Williamson gave us all, but I think he just ran out of gas. That's home run number 20 on the replay for Pagliarulo. RBIs 40 and 41. He had 32 home runs real world. It is 2-0 Yankees. I believe when I enter this, it will make Williamson fatigued, which it does. But with 2 outs, they're going to go ahead and try to get him through the inning, as nobody had been warming up yet. So here's Pasqua. 5-6, and that's would have been a strikeout, but he's fatigued. So that means he's going to have to come out of the game. My house rule is if you hit the dot when you're tired, it's an automatic, you're gone. So Pasqua will single, and that will be the end for Mark Williamson. He will make it 5 2/3 innings, but he just simply ran out of gas, and I probably pushed him too far. But I was trying to get him through the inning to start the new reliever fresh, but that didn't seem to happen. So the Orioles will go to their bullpen, and we'll see who they want to turn to. And actually, I was in error. They did have a reliever that was left-handed, Scott McGregor. So they could have brought him in, but don't know if that would have been how that would have done. Well, it would have turned that home run to a single, for one thing. But, hey, I didn't realize. I thought they were only right-handed. I did not look and see that he was there. So I know it now, but let's see who's the most rested of all the relievers. Well, Boddicker pitched a complete game last time, so they're all pretty well rested. So they will go to Tony Arnold out of the bullpen. Tony Arnold will be the new pitcher for the Orioles. 0 hold. So Williamson, 5 2/3 innings, 9 hits, 3 runs. He is responsible for Pasqua. He's going to walk. It looks like he did not walk anyone. And he only struck out 3. So Tony Arnold, we'll get the numbers on Arnold. On the real season, Tony Arnold was no win-loss record of 5.77 ERA. On the replays, 0-4 with an 8.84 ERA. And he'll be on to face the catcher, Mark Salas, with 2 outs, and Pasqua at first base. Pasqua not thinking about running anywhere. That's a 2, chance for a balk or pass ball. Looking at a pass ball again on Kennedy, which is a 2. And there's no pass ball, so Salas will stand in. 1-3, and that's a fly ball to right field plus possible injury. So Salas may have to come out of this game. He needs a 1-6 on the D20 to stay in. 7 or higher, he's gone. He's out of here. So just a 1-game injury only, just for this game. He'll be eligible tomorrow. But right now, Rick Cerrone will be summoned in to catch here in the 6th inning. And we'll see how that affects Rhoden, because sometimes you have that pitcher-catcher chemistry going. You don't like to mess it up, but when an injury comes along, you don't have any choice. And Cerrone is the only other catcher on the roster. So Cerrone will do the catching. He's a better defensive catcher anyway. So Cerrone is the catcher. He is a 3-1 E0 as a defensive rated catcher. So we'll keep an eye on that. See how Rick Rhoden is going to be affected facing or pitching to a new catcher. Sometimes, like I said, in real world, that can affect you. Now, cards and dice probably doesn't amount to a hill of beans, but can add to the storyline if he does struggle. So Rick Cerrone, but they do, like I said, they improve their defense unquestionably. Cerrone, a much better defensive catcher than Salas is. And for the Orioles to be bottom of the order, Mike Young. So Mike Young, designated hitter, leads it off. 2-2, and that's a Lomax with injury there. So Mike Young might be injured. Could be this. What is this, demolition league or what? So he lines out, and again, a 1-6. He can stay in the game. He does. So this time he does stay in the game. So he will not be injured. This is Rick Rhoden's fatigue inning, and Young put a smack on that one, but right at Randolph. Here's Wiggins. We're not in the 7th inning yet, so no pinch hitting except for injury or pitching change. 3-9 for Wiggins is a solid single. So Wiggins may be looking to run. In fact, I know he's going to be looking to run. He needs a 4, 5, or 6, or a 12. 4, 5, 6, or 12. Doesn't get the lead, he's going to hold. And here's Jim Dwyer. 5-7, and that's a ground ball, shortstop X. Shortstop is responsible for holding the runner on, so he drops to a 4 E22. With a lefty batter up, the shortstop is responsible for holding. So it's a 4 E22 now. 4 and a 7 can make a huge difference as opposed to a 3 and a 7. So 4 and a 7 is a G3 pound, which turns into, and 3-7 was the same actually. So it turns into a single 2 stars with them holding the runner. So it's going to turn to a single 2 stars for Jim Dwyer. So the fact that Wiggins was on base, making the Yankees hold him on, it opened up a hole on the right-hand side, or the left-hand side in this case, for a base hit. Putting runners at the corners with only 1 out for Cal Ripken, and now Rhoden 1 batter or 1 hit away, walk away, run away from fatigue. Infield looking for the double play. Ripken did hit to a double play his last time up. But not having the chemistry Rhoden had with Salas, he's now trying to work it out with Cerrone, and he's giving up 2 hits very quickly. 5-7, and that is another ground ball, shortstop X. This time, Dwyer not being held on, plus it's a right-handed batter, so second baseman, if they were holding, would be responsible. So this time, Tollefson keeps the 3 E22. 3 and 11. Might get to it, but it's not going to be a double play, that's for sure. 3 and 11 is a G2. That's a 13, and he is an E22 at 13, E22. No 13 there, but it's a fielder's choice. The run's going to score. Cuts the lead to 2-1. It's a 6-4 fielder's choice. RBI ground out from Ripken. And for Ripken, that is RBI 32 on the season. And that brings up Eddie Murray with Ripken at first and 2 down. Now of a 2-1 ball game. 157. Another ground ball. Boy, they're just wearing Tollison out over there. Another ground ball, shortstop X. 3E22 gets another chance. 3-20. This time he'll get to it easily. That's a 9. I don't think there's a problem with the 9 there. On an E22. Nope, no 9 there. So it's a good play this time. So the third time is a charm for Tollison to make a solid play. And that's going to end the inning. But the Orioles finally get on the board. At the end of 6 complete, it is the Yankees 2 and the Orioles 1. And oh, guess what? That was the score of the original game. Not saying they're going to be 3 shutout innings in a row coming up here. Just mentioning that fact. So here is Henry Cotto. Henry Cotto is your batter. Cotto is 0 for 2. He's got an 8-game hitting streak he's working on. 6-9. That's a pop out to Ripken at third. So he's in danger of the 8-game hitting streak going by the wayside. Here's Wayne Tollison. He's 2 for 2. 1-4. Ballpark single check. That's a 2. Make him 3 for 3. He's got the magic today, Mr. Tollison. Hitting 238 on the replay, but he's 3 for 3 today. That'll flip it over to Willie Randolph. Tollison, no, not going to try anything. Here's Willie Randolph. Randolph is 1 for 3. 1-5. That's a ground ball, shortstop B. They get the fielder's choice, not the Giovanni's double play. They get a fielder's choice instead. 2 outs. New runner at first base is Randolph. And he needs a 3 to get the lead. Doesn't get it. He'll hold. And here's Claudell Washington. 2-4 for Washington. That's a ballpark single check. Again, only a 1-3. So he'll ground it to Murray, and that'll do it. Nothing doing there for the Yankees. We go to the 7th inning stretch. And I do need to heat my coffee, so we will take a quick 7th inning stretch break, probably about a minute. Forgot to close the book on Williamson. He gave up 2 runs. They were earned. So do it for the Orioles will be Sheets, Knight, and Kennedy when we return. 2-1 ball game, favor of the Yankees. No action yet in the Yankee bullpen. They're kind of sticking with Rhoden at the moment. But I do need to heat my coffee. So we will get ready for that as I set up the take me out to the ball game. So there's no dead space here with nothing going on. But I'll do the the newer version of the take me out to the ball game, which is not quite as long because I don't plan on taking as long to run down and heat my coffee, that's for sure. That's assuming I can find it. I don't remember what I did with it now. It was under a Boston Red Sox sound deal, or ballpark sounds, or whatever you want to call it. Now I'm trying to find out what I did with it. I may have to go the old version here. Oh well, looks like we're going to have to go the old standby. All right, so 7th inning stretch, 2-1 favor of the Yankees, and we'll be back in 2 minutes or thereabouts, maybe less. Assuming I can get this thing to play, which is Xfinity is giving me trouble here all of a sudden. Trying to do something on this. Technical difficulties. When I have cards and dice, I don't have any technical difficulties. When I have anything that's electronic, I have technical difficulties. I'm just not made for electronics, apparently. Well, you know what? Might have to bag the whole idea because it doesn't look like it's working. Oh, well. It says I have good internet on my phone, so I don't know why. And every time I try to bring up something, it's not showing up. I'm getting circles in the sand trying to get it. So, oh well. I'll find something else that I can put out there. I don't know. Maybe lacking the music, I'll put a picture of Tabby out there. How about that? We'll turn this off. Maybe that's too much glare there. You can see a picture of Tabby while I go get my heat my coffee. I'll be as quick as possible. All right, made it back. And turn the light back on. Whoa, too much light there. Probably need to turn that sucker down, don't I? I do have heated coffee, so we're good there. And as I went downstairs to get my coffee, I noticed my next door neighbor is out there on his riding mower with a jacket on, cutting grass. If I got to wear a jacket, I'm not cutting grass. To me, it's too cold to cut grass. That's him. Of course, he has a riding mower, so I guess it doesn't bother him at all. I have a push mower. The good news is it's self-propelled. The bad news is I have to propel it myself. So I used to have one where the wheels turned automatically, but this one I have now is an old cheaper model that old-fashioned, pull it, do it yourself. One step above the old-fashioned kind where there was no motor at all. You just ran the thing and the blades turned in a circle. I'm sure you remember those old-fashioned kinds way back in the day. I mean, it does need to be done, but it's supposed to be a sprinkle. I mean, it's cloudy out there and it's supposed to get a little rain. It's supposed to clear up this afternoon and get into the mid-60s. So to me, that's a better day to do it. And something going on with my phone because it's just not letting me do anything. I try to join this stream and I'm getting circles in the sand on my phone. So I don't know what's going on with my phone. It says I have internet here. It says I'm connected to the internet. Obviously I am, or I wouldn't be streaming. So I don't know why YouTube is messing up on my phone. So we'll just say screw that and keep going. All right. Bottom of the seventh, Larry Sheets steps to the plate. 6-6, and that is a pop out to third. Pagliarulo right there. One away, and that will bring up Ray Knight. 4-4, and that's a ground ball third base X. Pagliarulo a 2E20. 2 and a 4, that's going to be tough. 2 and a 4. Nobody's on base, though. And of course, third baseman's never responsible for holding anybody anyway. So it will be a G3. That's an 11 on E20. And there's an 11 right there. So Pagliarulo boots it. There are 2 error chances under E1, one base error on an E20. One's an 11 and one's a 14, and there you see the 11. So Pagliarulo, E5. E5 from Pagliarulo puts Knight, who is the tying run, at third base, and they're going to pinch run for Ray Knight, as Knight is one of the slowest runners in the league, as seen by his 8 run rating. So they will bring on Rene Gonzalez to run, and also he'll stay in the game to play third base. So Rene Gonzalez, don't walk away, Rene Gonzalez will pinch run in the 7th, play third base in the 8th. So now Gonzalez. And he's a 3 E20, which is better than 4 E23. So they improved their running and their defense. He's no threat to run, but he does run at a 12 versus an 8. So they won't even hold him on, but he's got a better chance of scoring on a base hit. So pinch running, let's bring him on the computer before I forget. Bring on Gonzalez, and now Terry Kennedy with a chance to move up the runners in a big way. See what he can do here against Rhoden. Kennedy is 0 for 1 with a walk. 2-6 for Kennedy, and that is a ground ball shortstop. That is a Giovanni's Taylor shot. Taylor-made double play. It's third Taylor-made double play of the game. And that will take care of the Orioles here in the 7th. It didn't matter about a pinch runner. When you ground into a double play, it kind of makes that a moot point, but they do improve their defense. If you want to look at a silver lining. And now the computer is prompting me to put Gonzalez in at third base, which I have just done. Now, coming up for the Yankees, it'll be Ward, Winfield, and Pagliarulo. They do have McGregor, the lefty, in the bullpen, ready to go. He would come in and face Pagliarulo. They're going to let Arnold have his chance at Ward and Winfield, but once they get to Pagliarulo and Pasqua, they will be going to the left-hander McGregor. So we'll see what Arnold can do. Tony Arnold against Gary Ward. Ward is 1 for 3. It's a 110, and it's a fly ball to left field, make him 1 for 4 on that fly to left. And that brings up Mr. May, Dave Winfield. He doubled his last time up and scored on the Pagliarulo homer. 312, that's a ballpark blast for Winfield. 1-11, that's a 3. It's gone. Dave Winfield homers, and that's going to be it for Tony Arnold. Home run, Dave Winfield. Gets the Yankees back a 2-run lead. Look at it again, close up and personal. Dave Winfield on a 312 is a ballpark blast against right-handed pitching. Double die is a 3. Home runs are an 11. So a 2-run home run, and that'll do it for Mr. McGregor. For Mr. Arnold. McGregor will be coming on. So for Winfield, let's get his home run total. See how many home runs that is for Winfield. On the replay versus, let's see, it's a 16th home run on the replay. RBI number 41. He had 27 homers real world. And Tony Arnold will exit. And Scott McGregor will be coming on. Started the season in rotation. It's been demoted to the bullpen, trying to work out some kinks, I guess. 3-1 Yankees. They've out-hit the Orioles 11-3. So by all rights, they should probably be further ahead than what they are. But it is what it is. So McGregor is coming on, and we'll get the numbers on McGregor. McGregor in the real season, 2-7 with a 6.64 ERA. That's in the real season. In the replay, is 2-6 with a 5.23 ERA. 72 innings pitched, 83 hits, 29 walks, 46 strikeouts. And I don't know if you guys can hear in the background, but I can hear that riding mower in the background. Hopefully it's not too distracting. All right. So Pagliarulo, lefty-lefty matchup against Scott McGregor. McGregor a -1 hold, but I'm not sure that's all that important at the moment, especially with nobody on base. Pags against the lefty, see what he can do. 1-6, and he's going to strike out. So McGregor comes in and strikes out Pagliarulo, and now that brings up Pasqua, left fielder. 4-9, and he walks Pasqua. Sure, it's not what he wanted, because now you've got Cerrone up for the first time since coming in for the injured Mark Salas. So we'll get the numbers on Cerrone. Cerrone on the replay hitting 246, 3 homers, 15 driven inning at 243 real world. Pasqua not held at first base. McGregor to Cerrone, 3-10. That's a single 1-star, and the inning continues. And now you wonder if they might go to a righty out of the bullpen with Cotto coming up. Cotto, he's pretty much the same either way you go. So I guess they'll stick with McGregor. First and second, 2 outs. It is a clutch situation now for Cotto. He gains a hit, 110. He is currently riding an 8-game hitting streak, and this is his last chance to extend it. See if he can do that against McGregor. 1-7, he does. 1-4 is a home run. That's an 11. It'll be a double for Cotto, and he would have done the same thing against right-hander, so it really didn't. In fact, he would have had a home run against a right-hander. Had we brought a right-hander in, that would have been a 3-run home run. So keeping the left-hander in at least minimize the damage to a double. We'll check base running advancement. Cerrone, the trail runner, rather. Cerrone runs at a 10. With 2 outs makes him a 12, not being held as a 13. The double's assumed to go to center. And Gerhardt's a +1 arm, a 14. 1-14, they're going to send him. Cotto will take third on the throw, but they're going to try to get him at the plate. 1-14. And he's in there. So it's a 2-run double off the bat of Henry Cotto, and he extends his hitting streak to 9 games. And McGregor getting pummeled after getting the first couple of outs. It is now a 5-1 Yankee lead. And Tollison, who is 3 for 3, steps to the plate. That's a 5-11. Switch hitter batting right-handed. That's a ballpark single check, 1-3. That will be a line out to the shortstop to end the inning. But 3 runs come on, and they'll probably go ahead and have McGregor finish out the game just to save the rest of the bullpen. Or you know what? They're going to take him out, and they're going to bring in. This is a good time to bring in Doug Corbett, get his feet wet with the score now sort of out of hand. They will bring in Corbett to pitch the rest of the ball game, so he can make his season debut. And we'll go to the Strat computer and finish out the numbers on McGregor and Arnold both to clean up their pitching lines. And now Rick Rhoden's been given a huge advantage. So Arnold, an inning and 2/3, he's going to give up 2 hits and a run, which was earned. No walks, no strikeouts. McGregor, 2/3 of an inning, and he's going to give up 2 hits and 2 runs, a walk, and a strikeout. So that'll set it up for Doug Corbett in the 9th to get a mop-up situation. Right now, Rick Rhoden, he's doing the old Joe Cocker. He's feeling all right. And he's going to be facing Gerhardt, Young, and Wiggins, the scheduled hitters for the Orioles. Now a 5-1 Yankee lead. And the Baltimore faithful not too happy about it. They do have a John Habian card. He's actually in the bullpen. I do have the John Habian card right here. Mike Griffin gets called up tomorrow. I think it's either tomorrow or the next day. I think it's the 26th, actually. he gets called up and Luis De Leon gets either injured or sent to the minors or whatever. But Mike Griffin is carded, and he's in the minor leagues right now. He will be coming on to the roster very shortly. All right, Rick Rhoden facing Gerhardt. 2-8, and that's a strikeout. So Rick Rhoden, strikeout number 4. And Rhoden's going to go for a complete game, I think. Here's Young. He's 0 for 2. That's a 4-10. Switch hitter. Ground ball third base X. Pagliarulo, 2E20. 2 and a 14. He'll get to that. E20 and an 11 at third base. E20. And again, that's the second time Pagliarulo has found an 11. He's made his second error of the game at 20 and that 11. So Pagliarulo having some issues in the field. And that will put a runner on base for the Orioles as they look to try to get back in this game. I do have, for each team, I have an envelope for each team that I keep the cards and the active cards in. I've got an extra envelope for the minor leaguers. So if I go to my minor league envelope, we will see Mike Griffin has a card right there. There's Mike Griffin's card. Mike Griffin, 3-5 with a 4.36 ERA in 74 innings. So he will be coming on shortly. He's just not on the active roster right this second, but I do have a separate set of envelopes to contain the minor leaguers and keep straight who's on the roster and who's not at a particular time. So now we've got Wiggins up, and do we pinch hit for Wiggins is the question. I guess we could, probably should. Let's take a peek ski here at who's on the bench, who's available. Fred Lynn's available to pinch hit. Let's see here. And you could bring in Rick Burleson to play second base. So they're going to bring in, I'm going to use Fred Lynn. He's on the roster, so I'm going to use him whether he's hurt or not. I don't know. He's on the roster. He wasn't hurt enough to be on the IL. So I'm going to take it that he's available. So Fred Lynn will pinch hit for the Orioles. And then in the ninth inning, Rick at second base. But right now, Freddie Lynn stepping to the plate. No relation to Loretta that I'm aware of. And we'll get the numbers on Mr. Lynn as we bring him on the computer. That'll leave Lee Lacy and backup catcher Dave Van Gorder as the remaining bench players for the Orioles, in case you're wondering who they have left. Fred Lynn on the replay is hitting .221, 18 homers, 38 driven in. He hit .253 real world. So Lynn is on. That's a 2, chance for a balk or pass ball. We're looking at a pass ball chance on Cerrone, and his pass ball rating for the computer is a 9. No pass ball. He blocks it. Here's the pitch to Lynn. 3-9 for Lynn, and that is a Giovanni's Tailor Shop tailor-made double play once again. Third double play the Orioles have hit into. All three of their double plays have been Giovanni's Tailor Shop tailor-made double plays. Right here, 3-9, 4-6-3 double play. And it's hard to win when you hit the 3 double plays. You can't get anything going offensively. And that's the case here. That will end the inning. And they will send this game to the 9th inning. Giovanni's Tailor Shop apparently is a friend of the Yankees. Go to the 9th. And we need a new second baseman in the computer. That is going to be Rick Burleson. And we need a new pitcher. And that will be the season debut of Doug Corbett. So Corbett, in the real world season, he pitched 23 innings. He was 0-2 with a 7.83 ERA. He did have 1 save. But this is his maiden voyage in the 1987 run with the Orioles, which did not last that long. And he'll be facing the top of the order, Randolph, Washington and Ward. Randolph, Washington, and Ward. And with getting close to the end here, we'll back this up just a hair so you can see all the end of the cards there. All right, here is Randolph. 6'3", and that is going to be a ground ball pitcher X. Fortunately, these cards that were made for me have all the information I need on them. So he is a 2E0. We know he can't make an error. I'll roll to make sure it's not a rare play. And it's not. So a 2, the only way a base hit occurs with a pitcher of a 2 is on a 1 or a 2. 3 or higher, he gets to this. And he does. So Corbett, easy out there to get Randolph for out number 1. And here is Claudell Washington. 5'3", left-handed, fly ball right field X. We're looking at Dwyer. He's a 3E1. 3 and a 7 should get to that, I believe. 3 and a 7, he barely does. That's an F1. The last out number in the out range on the 3 column is number 7, and he got to it. That's a 15, but he's an E1, so the only E1 errors are 17 and 3. So Dwyer will make the play. 2 up, 2 down for Gary Ward. That's a 6-7 on Corbett. That's a single. So Corbett gives up the single. That will bring up Winfield. Winfield so far is the offensive player of the game. He's doubled and homered. Not performing like Mr. May in this one. But he's facing his 3rd different pitcher, I believe. No, he's faced, I believe he doubled off Williamson and homered off of Arnold. So, see what he does here against Mr. Corbett. Ward at first, not being held. 3-8 for Winfield. Ground ball to 3rd, and that'll take care of it as Rene Gonzalez will throw over to make the out. So Corbett pitches a scoreless 9th inning, giving up a hit but nothing else. So a decent debut for Doug Corbett. But now the man of the hour, Rick Rhoden, trying to close the deal with a complete game. You're facing the heart of the order, Dwyer, Ripken, and Murray. Scheduled hitters. I don't see any pinch hitting going on with those guys at the plate. Rhoden trying to keep his fatigue going so he doesn't have any issues. Or 6, and that's going to be a fly ball to right field. Winfield is right there to make the play, 1 away. That'll bring up Cal Ripken. 3-5 for Ripken. He grounds it to Tollison at short. 2 up, 2 down here in the 9th. And it looks all the world like Rick Rhoden's going to be getting a complete game, to his credit. Check his numbers real quick, see if he has a complete game, if it even shows it to me on the Strat computer. I might have to go to the team stats for that after the game is over. Let's see, I don't think it gives me a complete game. Nope, doesn't give me a complete game. So I don't know. I have to wait till the game's over to figure out if he's had any complete game since then. But it's Eddie Murray, last chance saloon for the Orioles. Eddie Murray. 3-7 for Murray, struck him out, and that's the ball game. What a way to end it there for Rick Rhoden. He pitches a complete game. The Yankees turn the tables on the Orioles, as the previous game, Boddicker pitched a complete game. And this one, it is Rick Rhoden going the distance. The real game ended 2-1. This game ends 5-1. So Rick Rhoden pitches a 3-hitter for the victory. Now let's see, he struck out 5, and he walked just the 1. He walked Kennedy, and that was it. So 5 runs, 14 hits, and uncharacteristically 3 errors on the Yankees. 1 run, 3 hits, and no errors for the Orioles. Losing pitcher Williamson, he drops to 3-4. The winner, Rhoden, goes to 6-4. So we'll put this in the computer and put a wrap on this game and get you ready for tomorrow's game in Toronto in Detroit between Toronto and the Tigers. So let's see, is there anything else of note? think everything is pretty well straight there. So Willie Randolph had an error and Pagliarulo had 2 errors. So with the win, the Yankees edge ahead of the Tigers into 3rd place alone. 8 games back of Milwaukee, but the Tigers do play Toronto tomorrow. And if they win, they will tie the Yankees for 3rd place. Let me check. I want to check Rick Rhoden's individual stats. Now that the game is over, I can go into the team stat screen for the Yankees and see if this was his first complete game or not. Rick Rhoden, this was his 2nd complete game. And he's actually pitched 102 innings now. So he's one of the few pitchers that's pitched over 100 innings now is Rick Rhoden. He is now 6-4 with a 4.11 ERA in the replay. 15 starts, 2 of them complete games. And they take care of the Orioles by the score of 5-1. And more good news when we get to tomorrow's game, or to the 24th game in this series. They will have Pasqua going to Columbus, and Don Mattingly will be rejoining the Yankees. So that'll give them a boost offensively, you would think. So that's going to do it from here, from Memorial Stadium in Baltimore. The teams have now split the series. Orioles won the first game with a complete game from Boddicker. Yankees win game 2, complete game from Rick Rhoden. And now they look ahead to game 3, the rubber match of the series, as they say. And in that matchup, it'll be right-hander Dave Schmidt for the Orioles against left-hander Ron Guidry for the Yankees as they try to see who can win that series. But tomorrow's game, we head to Detroit. It'll be Dave Stieb for Toronto against Jeff Robinson for Detroit from Tiger Stadium in Detroit as both teams try to catch Milwaukee. So I do appreciate everybody who tuned in live and spent part of your Tuesday morning with me, kept me company. Of course, those that watch it later, obviously appreciate you supporting the channel that way as well. That will do it from here. Until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road. Yankees win, Yankees win, the Yankees win.